Hi, welcome back to the Jan and Jamie live show. We wanted to jump on here because this week's been a little crazy with rates. We haven't seen rates really under seven in a couple months. Jamie, what's going on with rates and what can we expect maybe in next 6 months? What are you seeing?
Well, yeah, it's actually some big news finally. The Fed has decided to not increase interest rates after 11 rate hikes.
Yeah,
It's good news for the foreseeable future. We actually saw the 30-year fixed mortgage drop below 7%, which we haven't seen in quite some time. It's also good news for clients that have recently purchased a home or, since these rate hikes have been going on, to
yeah,
give them the foresight that, lower rates are coming. We're going to be able to refinance them into a lower rate, lower payment. So that's good news for them. As far as the foreseeable future, they're confident and they say that, they're looking at three rate decreases in 2024. I'm sure that's going to be at a slow pace because they're still not at the 2% marker for inflation. But nonetheless, it's good news. It's starting their descent from what it looks like being in this market for so long. Markets go up, markets go down. I'm pretty confident now that going into the new year, we should start to see interest rates pull back for us. So, what do you think that's going to do to our
yeah.
potential buyers that have been sitting
Well,
on the sidelines in the market on your end?
well, look, it's December 15th, and I'm making some offers right now for some buyers, and some of those offers were made on Monday and the deadline, let's just say, was on Wednesday, we saw more and more offers coming in.
Sure.
People, there's already a deadline in place, so we're seeing like five offers. In December, this should be dead right now. This should be the best time to buy, but the lower the rates are, the more people that are going to come into the market. So a lot of buyers right now are disqualified. Can't even buy a home, right? So the lower that
Yeah.
every point it goes down, this. Uh,
Well,
we
yeah,
get
it opens up a lot more room for new buyers. And nonetheless, I mean, we still have that inventory shortage. So keeping that in mind, I highly recommend anybody that's watching this, if you've been sitting on the sidelines just saying, I'm going to wait for rates to come down, just know when that happens, the inventory problem is not going to go away. You're
yeah,
actually going to see more buyers competing and bidding on the same home, thus driving the purchase price of these properties up once again.
yeah,
So it's kind of counterproductive because if you're paying more for the same house, but the rate came down, that monthly payment is going to factor out to roughly be the same. So
yeah.
just knowing that down the road, if you pull the trigger now, we get you into a refinance position where we'll be able to lower that monthly payment when the market obviously hits more frequent lows as the time progresses. Between 2024 2025, very confident that we should see interest rates go down for us.
And this time of year, you're gonna have your W-2 or your K-1 from your small business next year. So be cognizant of your tax returns, and those bonuses all help you. If you can take a bonus now, it can be on your earned income for 2023. That could help you with affordability. If you have a small business, maybe you want to show a profit.
Well, now listen, you just touched on a very important point there because being in my seat as a loan officer, I could tell you, we're right around the corner from filing your 2023 returns. A lot of self-employed guys or people that are in the market to purchase a home. It's absolutely crucial,
Yeah,
that you contact somebody like myself before your accountant finalizes those returns
yeah,
because their job is to obviously help you save money, less of a tax burden. But just know that you might have to take less deductions, not shoot yourself in the foot, and there's some breathing room there to manipulate that. Before you finalize it with the IRS, so
yeah,
we can kind of run and crunch the numbers and just get you to where you're in a comfortable spot for approval, knowing and what your tax liability is going to be all the same, so we can, kind of weigh out your options. But definitely reach out to your loan officer. Myself, we're
Yeah.
always here to help you out. If in fact you are in the market to purchase a home, contact me or Jan, absolutely, so we can take a look at those projected figures for 23 and make sure you're in a good spot.
What I see over and over again as a problem is people think they have to find the house first, and that's the last thing you look for. The first thing
Right.
you do is put a team together, put a plan together. So when those opportunities come, you can actually win. If you're scrambling for documents, proof of funds, trying to upload assets and run credit all while a deadline's due, you're most likely going to drop the ball at the finish line, which is
Yeah.
such a
I mean,
waste.
listen, speed is everything. A lot of these homes, with these aggressive sales, you're going to see people requesting a 30-day close or quicker in some cases. You don't know somebody's situation. So it's absolutely crucial. I will tell you that we have our ducks in a row. I mean, I could close a loan within 2 weeks. Granted, I have all the necessary paperwork
Right.
and the client, is on top of getting me what's requested in a time orderly fashion. You don't want to start that process after you find the home because,
Especially right now, sellers are selling because they have to. No one's selling their home right now in the holidays because they want to. They have a job relocation. There's a death. There's a divorce. These
yeah,
people are set. These people are in a rush. Like they got for some reason they need to move.
100%.
The
I'm
spring.
seeing that more and more on my end as well. Short closes, which I love, because, that gives us a leg up. Most people in my position can't close a loan within 2, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Physically, it's just not possible. Which, if we can meet that demand of the seller, it kind of gives you a leg up as far as their decision making process is concerned. All the same. So, definitely do that first and foremost. Obviously, you need to be pre approved to even submit an offer. So we want to
Yeah.
make sure that you're financially sound. And again, going back to what we just discussed, that pre-approval is contingent on your debt to income ratio, which, if there is self-employed income, being that we're backing up into 23, we want to make sure where we stand there, because underwriters are going to start looking ahead, knowing that there's 12 months of income. They want to see if your income has changed, whether it's gone
Yeah.
up, gone down. There's underwriting ways and things that we need to address to make it and confirm for a smooth loan process. So
And
definitely worth doing so. So if you are out there looking to purchase a home, 100%, you want to speak to somebody like myself, somebody like Jan, get the right team, the right people in places, one-stop shop, and that'll help us
and that
execute, provide a
and that
great
and
price.
that includes attorneys, title
Sure,
companies, inspectors.
everything,
You know,
everything.
there's like 4 to 5 people you need on your side, and when we can disclose that to a listing agent, let's just say we're on the buy side, and we say, hey, here's our attorney, here's our lender, here's our title company, here's who we're going to use for inspections, and we make
Yep,
the offer the same day that property comes on the market, you just exponentially have a higher chance of winning because
100%.
the listing agent and the seller are judging the offers on motivation and likelihood to close. So those people
Yeah,
that wait to the last minute, like 1 minute before the deadline, usually don't win. They may even have the highest offer, but the seller has sat on this first offer for 4 or 5 days, and they're like, you know what,
right.
this guy was patient. They made a strong offer right away. They really want the house. And there's a little bit of an emotional aspect too with the seller. They want to kind of pass their house down to someone who really wants it. They don't necessarily
Yeah.
always want to just get the highest price. Sometimes they want to, if they grew up there or whatever, they've been there for 20, 30 years, there's an emotional connection there. So,
Yeah, the letters are helping. A lot of people, write a personal letter to the seller. You're starting a family, whatever the case may be, which is where you come in. You can help them with the verbiage there.
yeah,
But even me on my end, offers that come in that are submitted, and all of a sudden the seller's agent reaches out to me
yeah,
because I'm the guy behind the mask, getting the deal done essentially for the buyer So they do an extra step of vetting. And if they call me, I know that you're at the top of their list,
Yeah.
of the decision making process. And the questions that they ask me, does this guy have his paperwork together? Do we have any income issues? Where do you see, how fast can you close this loan? These are all things going back to being well prepared, having everything in order, having the right team in place. I
Yeah.
mean, they want to look and shop for efficiency. And I can tell you 9 out of 10 times, I make sure that that is always the case. We always have all our ducks in a row. When those seller agents call me, we've never lost that contract.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing this a very long time. I know what they're looking for. I know what we need, as a team
Yeah.
to create a smooth, easy closing process. So it's just a matter of, again, doing the due diligence, reaching out to us before you're, jumping in with both feet, saying, what do we have to do? We absolutely love this house. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
and you bring up a good point. Just availability to answer the phone. So let's
right.
say you're going with a credit union or you're shopping the lowest rate. That's great, but guess what?
Yeah.
Guess what happens when a listing agent calls a 1-800 number on a Sunday? Uh, there's
Yeah.
gonna there's gonna be an answering machine or maybe a
Yeah.
fax
I
or a
mean,
fax.
listen, most of those calls come in on like a Saturday or a Sunday, and I'm always, this is what I do. So I'm
Or
available
after
7 days a week.
5 o'clock. Like there's a lot of times I'm on the phone with an agent at 10 o'clock at night. Like I don't want to do that, but that's just the nature of the beast. Like
No, that's what you got to do. It's
you
what you
gotta
got to
you
do.
gotta
Name of the game.
make things
Um,
happen after 5 o'clock.
Absolutely. Something else I wanted to bring to your attention too. That's been coming a little more popular on my end. I've mentioned in our previous shows about the 203K construction loan.
Yeah.
I know we had a guest, our friend Kenny, who I did one for. But what I've been seeing, and just to put food for thought out there, with a 203K, if you are purchasing a home from an immediate family member, mom or dad, whatever the case may be, you're obviously going to get it, hopefully, if
Yeah.
they like you, for a discounted price.
Right.
And with the 203K, obviously some of these houses and properties are outdated.
Yeah.
A lot of people that I've seen in this situation are using what they call a gift of equity.
Oh,
So typically you would be responsible for, let's say, a 203K conventional, 203K, or excuse me, 203K FHA loan is 3.5% down. If you're to do the home style, that's calls for 5% down. That's a conventional product on a construction side. But nonetheless, you're able to do a gift of equity. So what that means and what that transfers into is that not only are you getting it for a discounted price, but it gives you more ability to put work into the property. And that gift of equity covers your down payment, can cover your closing cost,
mhm.
essentially making the transaction completely for free for you. I'm actually working on one for a client right now. She's purchasing the mother and father's estate. And we're doing a gift of equity for her. She's doing a 203K FHA loan. She doesn't have to come with her 3.5% down payment. She does not have to come with her closing costs because the family is giving her a seller's concession up to 6% to
Wow.
cover and offset that. And nonetheless, we're actually utilizing the gift of equity and the funds that are coming from the gift to also pay off her car. Her car
What?
payment's $541.
Wow.
So, it's almost like hitting the lottery.
Huh.
She's actually getting her house with no money out of pocket and her car that's over a $500 monthly payment every month, absolutely covered for her. And
Wow.
it's a win-win to the seller because they're giving that gift all the same. They're not reaching into their pocket. They're going to net what they're going to net, which was expected, and it gives breathing room for you to bring in that contractor and really drive the value of that property up.
Yeah.
That would be an ideal case. So if you fall within that bucket, reach out to us. I think you would be amazed at the options that are available to you.
Yeah. That's really interesting. Yeah. I mean, I tell buyers all the time. Sometimes you want to go for the worst house, in the neighborhood.
You do in this essentially in this market because again, if you're going for that turnkey house, you're paying what somebody else the work that somebody else did double.
There's a
So
convenient, yeah,
if
there's a
you do
convenient.
a work and you put 100 grand into it, you essentially could get $200,000 in the value rather than paying an extra 200 grand for that house with that work done. You're getting it at a discount.
Yeah. And, a year later, next thing you know, you put down 3%, but now you have 20% equity.
You got it.
you know,
Those lucky people who purchased those homes, right before the market shot up. I mean, listen, they're tried and true. They could tell you firsthand. My cousin especially. I'll note on him. With the 5% down and had well over 20% equity in the
yeah.
house. And it's just it's a beautiful thing. And with markets, house prices slowly increase, historically 3% a year. So even if you make these moves now, 10, 15 years down the road, it's going to pay you the dividends.
And on the selling side, so anyone thinking about selling in the spring, just to kind of flip it, buyers, as Jamie just said, pay more for homes that are updated.
Yeah.
So when you're coming on the market and you're like 3 to 6 months out, you got to really put some thought into what is the product I'm going to bring on the market. Knowing that buyers pay a premium for updated homes
Yep.
more than it actually costs to update, just because they don't necessarily have the money to update after closing costs and the high mortgage payment. They're like, I just got to get in here.
Yeah.
They don't, and if they're moving in right away, they don't really want to be living in a construction site. But if
No.
you're an empty nester and you have the flexibility, now's the time to do those minor renovations or maybe the master bathroom. There's companies like Curbio and a few others like it where they'll do the renovations now and get paid at closing. So
Yeah, you could go that route. I mean, there's finance options that you could look into. I mean, if you're going to net a large sum of money, let's make that bag even bigger. If there's certain things like you said, like a bathroom or whatnot, there's ways that we can get you that additional financing before you would bring your home to market.
finish a basement.
That's it,
That kind of
and
stuff.
whether it be a home equity line of credit or a third party like you just mentioned, there's options there. I mean, the key thing here is we're here to help you. So, it's worth the 5-minute phone call,
Sure.
whatever the case is. I mean, this is our industry. This is what we do. We're the professionals here. We take pride in what we do. So it's worth, if you're thinking about selling, thinking about buying, reach out to us, and if you don't like us, reach out to somebody,
Better.
do yourself a favor.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Jamie, it's great catching up with you.
Same.
I know you got to run, but we'll be back in about 2 weeks. Check in at the new
Hey,
year.
listen, everybody, Merry Christmas. Same to you, Jan.
All right, happy holidays, sir.
Take care.